Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear. On the mics with me this week is the mighty Ganthor. What is up, Ganthor?
How you doing?
I'm spectacular, sir. How are you?
Haven't been killed by the snow yet, so.
Yeah. We're going to get into that one in just a second. On the other mic, filling in for the Z-Man this week, is my boy and super fan of the show, Ben. What's up, buddy?
Super fan is right. Love your show. Thanks for having me back.
Hold on. You bring in a super fan with all these accolades with the name Ben? That's all you give him?
Why are you going to give him? What are you going to give him shit about his name
Well,
for?
I'm Mighty Ganthor. It's the Z-Man. You're Spear, and then there's... my name is Ben. This is Ben. Hey, guys. Ben's on the show.
He has a point there.
So we got to give him some super alias or something?
Yeah, dude. That's how it goes.
I don't know. How about the B-Man? No, that doesn't work.
No.
I don't know.
B-Man.
I'm not going to name myself. So.
I can't. I mean, I can't come up with something on the spot here like this. This is too much pressure. I'll tell you what. Let's see where this show goes, and maybe he ends up with a nickname by the end of the show.
All right.
All right.
It's fine with
Works.
All right. This week, something must be done about overreactions. Ben, where do we start with this?
Well, it all comes from, the media and the public. And Deflategate is what sparked this idea for me.
Why so?
It's absolutely phenomenally ridiculous. It's just...
Hold on. Are you a New England Patriots fan?
No, sir, I am not.
Okay.
This is not based on fanship. It's not based on anything like that. I'm tired of people overreacting and not being able to just take in the facts and listen to details and understand what has to happen.
So let's. These are the facts of the case. The New England Patriots played a game against the Indianapolis Colts a few weeks ago, in which the New England Patriots romped the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 45 to 6.
7.
45 to 7. I mean that's destruction. Any which way you slice it. The big deal with this was that it was found after the game that the balls. So here's how this works. Each team gets to play with 12 balls of their own. There's gonna be a lot of balls jokes in this whole fucking thing. There's no way I get through this without getting a balls joke.
That's kind of like your life. You like balls.
I like balls. Each team gets to play with 12 balls, and the balls have to be inflated within a particular range, as decreed by the NFL by rule. And it was found afterwards that the balls that the New England Patriots played with were underinflated. There's just no way to get through this.
Did you see any of the interviews? The Tom Brady and the Bill Belichick interviews?
I did, yes.
I mean, did you notice how? I mean, they both a couple of times said balls and then said footballs right afterwards.
Right.
It was great.
It's almost as if they're trying to avoid the exact pitfall that I just ran myself into.
Oh, it was great. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So these footballs were underinflated by like 1 pound per square inch.
It's more like 2 pounds. Get it straight, buddy.
Well, what's the difference, though? I mean, it's not like the only argument.
That's over 10% of the minimum specification.
Okay, but the only argument that people make is that it makes the ball easier to grip in cold weather, and it gives you some sort of advantage because it makes it easier for you to throw and catch the ball.
So what kind of advantage does it give you if you say in an interview in 2011 that you actually prefer balls that are underinflated for throwing because you throw them better?
Well, what interview are you referring to? And what does that have to do with
Well,
this?
You're trying to paint it all innocent, like, it just happens to be this generic preference that people have when, no, sir, it's not a generic preference. It's actually a spoken, communicated preference of the quarterback. In other words, the one who throws those balls.
But again, it's not like that is an enormous competitive advantage. I mean, on a
how do you know? Has it been quantified?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's got.
What are your qualifications, sir, for judging whether this is a competitive advantage or not?
It's
in the rule book, is it not?
It is in the rule book.
It is.
Why is it in the rule book?
And there should be some sort of penalty, or they should be reprimanded.
I think Tom Brady should be hanged for crimes against the NFL.
See, that's where I think something needs to be done, but it's not that big of a deal.
The fact is that I think everybody's reaction has been completely overblown. These were two teams that played each other. They lost. The Colts lost by 5 touchdowns. I mean, every one of the Colts players turned around and said it wouldn't have mattered. One of them actually said this: it wouldn't have mattered if they played with bars of soap; they would have crushed us. The Patriots
Wow.
were the better team on the field that day. Who gives a shit whether or not the balls were underinflated?
I mean, the point is, this public outcry is just like, what's going on? Why does this happen? It's absolutely ridiculous. Give them time to investigate. Come
Agreed.
on.
Agreed.
No.
No?
No, they need to burn.
So you're saying yes, the overreaction is justified.
It's not an overreaction. I'm saying the outrage is justified.
The outrage may be justified. And I will agree with you that if they were found to be cheating, that retribution should be paid.
They're on parole, right?
Who said?
How long
they're
are they on parole for?
Who said they're on parole?
Until they quit cheating.
How do you know
Clearly
they
haven't
cheated?
stopped
Where
cheating.
does it say that they cheated? Where
Wait,
does
can I
it say that Bill
establish
Belichick
something?
cheated?
I have to
Where
establish something.
does what do we have to establish? That they cheated by intentionally lowering the pressure of the football?
No.
How do you know who did it?
Ganthor, you established that I was not a Patriots fan. I want to establish that you are either A, a Patriots hater, or not a Patriots hater.
No, I'm a Patriots hater for sure.
There it is.
Okay. That's fine.
I know it's fine.
That explains it.
Getting a little rambunctious here, guest. Settle down.
Oh, man,
think
I'll
he's-
take that one again. I always tend to get out of line.
He's listened
too.
to enough shows though, Ganthor. He might be the one guy. He might be the one guy we have that's listened to all of our shows. So please don't aggravate him.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
I
No,
should
no.
be respectful. Okay.
No, I know my place.
It's a fair
I know my
point.
place, and I respect my place. You know what it is? Is they're on permanent parole as long as Belichick and Brady are a
Yep.
team. That's pretty
Yep.
much how it is, isn't it,
No,
Ganthor?
you're
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Well, I can see from that angle, but I still don't think it's that big of a deal. It didn't affect the outcome of the game.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
It's the cheating.
But so the public outcry wants what does the public want here?
They want cheaters to be punished.
Okay.
The other interesting thing about the regime or the legacy that Brady and Belichick leave is the whole idea of everything ending with gate, right? You had Spygate, then there was Bountygate, now there's Deflategate.
They do that to everything, going back to Watergate, man. That's not unique to this.
Well,
Come on.
Yo, you know what happened last night? They're going to have this all over the news. It was your mom gate.
Gate's always open.
How long were you sitting on that one?
Not as long as she was.
I wasn't sitting on it, Spirit. It just happened.
It just happened. That's
You
great.
brought up the gates.
That's great. I'm excited. Let's move on. But it's one of these things. Everyone's got their own little pithy way of looking at it. Deflategate, very pithy.
You're true. You're right. And
mean,
I want to take it to my point is this overreaction is based on everybody's like a person who is empathetic to a situation as opposed to a person who doesn't give a shit about anyone else's situation. A person who's empathetic might be able to sort of sit back and understand what's going on, or at least be willing to hear what's going on. So many people aren't willing to hear the details. They go crazy right off the bat with things.
Agreed.
What other things, if I may ask, did you find on Google?
Oh, in terms of other overblown reactions,
Yeah.
how about the weather?
Well, I don't even have an inch of snow right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, as we're recording here right now, we're supposed to be getting another Snowmageddon, right?
Mhm.
Hashtag Snowmageddon, winter storm, whatever the fuck, right?
Mhm.
I mean, people have to give things names so that they can have like theme music and logos. I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing going on out here. I mean, I don't know what may be going on in New York or Boston, but I can tell you down here in Eastern PA, there is fuck all happening.
I'm convinced we're getting at least me, 3 to 6 inches. Dick jokes, please insert them now. So,
I inserted it in your mom last.
no, you inserted it into Z.
Well, whatever. He's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to talk too much about
I
it.
don't think he was there to defend himself that night either.
But the weather is the big, and we've talked about this before, right? Where everyone runs out to go get milk and eggs, and there's winter storm warnings and all kinds of fucking nonsense.
TV show interruptions.
TV show interruptions. It's a disaster, and it always ends up being much ado about nothing. And the drawback to that is that on the occasions where it actually is a serious storm, it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, how many
Yeah.
times can you deal with the meteorologist overreacting to how much, oh my God, there's going to be 12 to 18 inches of snow, and then you wake up the next morning and you have a couple of inches, and basically you can blow it off the car with a big sneeze. What do you do?
It happens all the time, right? Because that's what news stations have to resort to, because they don't have anything interesting to talk about. Not even interesting. They don't have anything that they're not talking about what they should be talking about.
I'm not a weatherman, but we're on the line sort of with how the storm's going. I mean, I think they're going to get hammered up north. You know
what? I could flip a coin and have better weather forecasts than these jokers. I might start doing that. You know what? I'll start a website, Coin Flip Weather, right?
That's great.
And I bet you, we track my record for a year. I bet you it's going to be just as good as those guys.
You're probably right. You couldn't do worse. Let's put it that way.
Well, what are the repercussions for doing worse or for doing poorly at all? There are none.
They should be fined. They should be kicked out.
Well, no, they should have a grade, right?
They should
if
lose.
You're average, if you drop below a GPA in your in college by a certain year, they kick you out. Same thing with the weathermen.
The biggest problem is if you start firing weather people, you're going to end, because for not doing a good job, you're going to end up with some ugly ass weather people. Because the people who can actually tell the weather aren't the good looking ones that they have on TV. They're the nerdy looking ones with acne in the back, telling the idiot wearing the fucking bow tie or the one with her boobs pressed all the way up to her chin what to say.
You know
what?
Man. They don't have to be the same people. You can get those nerds and have them do the forecast, and then the beautiful person just read it. And they can't even get that right.
I was totally kidding about making them lose people.
No,
I was just making reference to how ridiculous it is to make the Patriots lose a draft pick for an underinflated ball in a game in which they just kick the shit out of another team with the properly inflated ball in the second half.
I think it's a great idea.
Repeat offender.
I think it's a great idea. And seeing as how these fucking meteorologists are repeat offenders, I think retribution should be paid.
I agree. They should probably be hanged as well.
I know. We
Put
can
them up on the tree with Tom Brady.
I mean, do we have to go all the way to hangings, Ganthor? I mean, is that...
What other solutions are there?
I don't know. I mean, there's probably a little bit better than hangings.
Well, let's hear you come up with one.
Well, I like Ben's idea.
Super pithy host. Come on.
I like Ben's idea.
What was Ben's idea?
Where we start to fire those that fail below a certain grade.
All right, hanging them.
You know what?
Firing them, same thing.
I'm actually... The weather people are fine. I mean... They got to go by radar. They got to go by all this crap. We don't control the freaking universe.
Well, that's fine, Ben, but they don't have to blow everything up.
Is that them or is that the media?
Like they do either.
Is that them or is that the media?
They're the same thing.
They are the media.
I didn't look at it that way. I guess you're right.
They're on the television. They're on the radio. They're on the internet. They are the media. They don't act responsibly. Nice. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, better out than in, I always say. They don't act...
That's not what she said. All right.
They don't act responsibly is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not down on weather people, just for the record.
Why not? Why do you like them?
It's not that I don't like them. I just think that they're doing their job to the best of their ability.
No, I think they're doing a terrible job because there are no consequences for being terrible at what they do.
Got to agree with Ganthor on this one.
There's nothing forcing them to get better.
Well... Maybe we should, objectively, look to find somebody who is... is there an accuracy rate for these weather people?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, you can... look at the ridiculous things they... What does 75% chance of precipitation mean? It means nothing to me because I can't even evaluate that number in the context of anything. Just tell me, it's going to rain here, yes or no.
What is the 30% chance of rain tell you?
That's what I'm saying. What's the difference between 30 and 40 or 50?
Like a 30% chance of rain is like, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
That's them hedging their bets.
Can you imagine a weather person listening to us right now? They would trash us.
Well, good.
I'd fight them in a second.
I'll absolutely fight them.
Oh, we must look like idiots.
How about putting it on a scale that makes sense to me? It's not going to rain. It might rain. There's a really good chance it's going to rain. It's going to fucking rain. How about that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Not even that. Just take 3 of them. It's not going to rain. It might rain. It's going to rain.
There you go.
That's what they take their numbers for, and they make that call. But they don't want to be. They don't want to be held to that responsibility. And so they come out with the numbers. Oh, my math says it's a 75% chance. Therefore, I'm going to report that to all of my viewers, and then the fault is lies with them if they do something wrong based on that weather prediction. It's a cop-out.
I'm with
Make a
Ganthor.
stand.
You had
It's like,
one
let's
job
say-
to do, weather people.
Hang them all.
It's hard to argue with Ganthor when he's not right,
It's filled with vengeance.
and then it's really hard to argue with him when he is. So maybe we should just stop arguing with Ganthor on this one and just move on. What do you think, Ben?
Oh, that's fine. I didn't think it was an argument, but yeah. What's next?
So
what do you have?
when you do a search for media overreaction on Google, do you know what the majority of the results you get point you towards?
What?
Ebola.
Oh, wow.
The media's reaction to Ebola was staggering. We had what? How many cases of Ebola did we have in the country?
5.
It was less than that, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
It was like 3. It was like 2 or 3 confirmed cases with a bunch of other. This person may have Ebola because they have a fever. Like everyone was running around going, "I have Ebola," because I was on a plane that ran through the same air route that this guy who had Ebola came to the country with. It's like, oh, my connecting flight went through the same airport that the guy landed in. Like, what the fuck? Really?
I have a shocking admission to make.
What's that?
A couple years ago, I was so sick, and I started saying, I think I might have the swine flu.
Swine flu.
Seriously,
And
dude?
why did you do that, man? Because you read all that
What was
bullshit
your
about the swine
basis,
flu?
right?
Because of the fucking media.
Oh, my God.
That's my shock. That's my admission. I'm admitting that I
You fell victim.
fell victim.
Oh, no, you can't. No,
One time.
you can't be a victim. If you have a bad week at work, do you think you're getting a period?
No.
There's a lot of commercials for that on TV. Why didn't that affect you in the same way?
I didn't actually go to the doctor for swine flu. I said it a couple of times. That's all.
I don't know where to go with this, Spear.
I guess what I'd be really worried about is that, right? It's the overreaction to what you're reading and what you're hearing and what you're seeing and what you might do as a result. Like when we found out that we had one person in the U.S. that died of Ebola, we ended up spending millions on special training for hospitals, screening passengers at major airports. Like the New York airports were like all the major hubs were turned into a fucking free-for-all, right? And there were people, without exaggeration, talking about a worldwide travel ban. So it's like
I'm under the impression that it is that bad.
it
Maybe
is
we
that
overreacted
bad.
as a country, but
It is that bad in Africa. That's the thing. Like we focused on the one guy that made that brought Ebola to the United States. We focused on one guy. It's a pandemic in Africa. Why aren't we focusing on that? Like, why aren't we talking about the real story, which is all of the death that's going on for the same disease? One guy in the United States died of Ebola. Thousands are dying in Africa. What's the right story to be talking about? What's the right level? If you're going to have a huge reaction, where should you be applying that?
Because they're poor, dying people who nobody cares about.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous, but that's what it is.
A few months ago, we landed we put a lander on a comet. It was a device the size of a washing machine, and we landed it on a comet. Now, a comet's not a planet necessarily, right? It's not round and regular shaped, right? It's this chunk of ice and rock that's hurtling through space. And we figured out a way, humanity figured out a way to land this thing on this comet. It should have been one of the biggest stories in all of humankind. Do you know what we talked about that week? Kim Kardashian's ass.
that was about as big as that fucking washing machine.
Jesus Christ. We didn't land a washing machine on Kim Kardashian's ass, even though you probably could have. We talked about this picture, or these pictures of her where she was naked, or she was shooting champagne on her ass. We spent the media was infatuated with the idea of this and completely missed this enormous scientific breakthrough, a world-changing event.
Why would that be? Why wouldn't the media put that out there? Is it because we don't understand it? What is it?
I mean, as much as they play on our emotions, I think they play to our basest instincts. Everyone loves a naked chick, and everyone loves to hate Kim Kardashian. They don't know fuck all about comets, science, fucking landers that have been. I mean, if you read any of the science of it, you can't help but be amazed at the idea that we did this.
I read up on it a little bit, not nearly enough to have any sort of intelligent conversation about it.
But isn't that the point? That's exactly the point. You should have been inspired to read everything possible about this thing.
But
let me ask you guys this question. In 1969, everyone sat around their televisions and watched Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. Everybody. It was a global event. How many people do you think would watch that event today?
Oh, I don't know. I remember watching, how do you refer to it now without being an asshole? Kristen McAuliffe, I hate to say that, God rest her soul. NASA, 1986.
You talking about the
Challenger?
Challenger?
Challenger, yes. Yeah, that was a big event. I think everybody was watching it in 86, right? I was in school. I was in second grade, I think.
Well, that's when shuttle launches were still new and exciting.
So what, this isn't new and exciting anymore, maybe?
Maybe that's part of the problem.
But this wasn't just a shuttle launch. I mean, we were in deep space. We
I
landed
know,
with
you're
tiny
talking
craft.
like the moon thing. I totally watched that today, but
Why wasn't this comet landing? Why wasn't this broadcast in classrooms? Why wasn't it on TV? Why weren't we all watching this? Why, for all that is holy in this world, were we talking about Kim Kardashian's ass that week?
I agree with you.
I agree with you too, Spear.
I mean, if we overreact to some things, we underreact to others, and they're the completely wrong things to underreact to.
How long have you been working on that spiel? That was good.
I just made it up.
That was wonderful.
Well, thank you, Ben.
I'm underreacting to Spear's little diatribe.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't chime in on that.
Well, no,
You're a good listener.
I'm so overwhelmed that I'm speechless. How about that?
Really?
I know somebody else who was like that last night.
She was underwhelmed or
I
speechless?
think I said overwhelmed.
Speechless. You got me there, Spearman. You can edit that out.
No more guests, Ganthor. I've had it.
You're not going to edit
Hey,
that out, are you?
Signed him up, man.
That's going to be your one shining moment.
Is it? Oh, God.
Oh, crap.
Let's wrap this fucking thing up.
All right.
What did we learn? What did we learn about overreactions, Ganthor? What did you learn?
You assholes like the Patriots.
I don't like the Patriots.
Clearly you do.
I don't like them. I'm making sure that we pay the correct amount of attention to the issue, Ganthor.
I learned that
You
I
got
didn't
to
ask
be
you. Wait, hold
asked
on.
first.
You have to
God.
be asked first, asshole.
Wait your turn. Jesus.
What did you learn, Ben?
I learned that Patriots haters can never be turned.
That's true. Once you go to the dark side, there's no coming back.
Rational
Hey,
or
I said
irrational?
you get rid of the regime, and then that resets it.
Yeah. Oh, it's not the point, but I get it. I understand. I understand your dark side.
Once a hater, always a hater, Ganthor.
Patriots haters. See, that's the problem. Is Patriots haters.
Haters. Chugging the haterade. It's you, Ganthor. What did I learn? I learned that the media can stir a shitstorm. I learned that weather people suck, and that we should get some ugly-ass weather people because they might actually be able to tell us what the fuck is going on. And I learned... I learned that if we overreact to certain things, we drastically underreact to certain things, and we should probably do a better job of paying attention to those things. So if you think that we need ugly-ass weather people to tell us what the fuck's going on, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You can check out the show on Stitcher Radio or on iTunes. Just search for 4Listeners, and we'll pop right on up. And you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners. Thank you, Ben. You have been a wonderful guest.
Thank you, Spear. You have been a wonderful host.
As always. And we thank all
What
of you.
about me?
Oh, you suck, Ganthor. Fuck you. we thank
Nice.
all of you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch.
I believe that death is dead, the good guy.